Hi, it's Christina with the Sisyphean Journal, and um, today's case is another one of those things that was a disappointment to me. I used to believe that when abortion was illegal, if you were a quack and you killed somebody, you'd get locked up, and the other women in the area would be safe. Well, the case of Guy E. Brewer shows that that was not the case. He, like Lucy Hagenow and Richard Thacker, just kept piling up the corpses before somebody finally stopped them. And on June 7th of 1935, Dr. Guy E. Brewer pleaded guilty to 6 counts of manslaughter for the deaths of 6 women who died from complications of abortions he had perpetrated. So he was only sentenced to serve 6 consecutive 4-year terms and spent his incarceration working in the prison hospital. Now, one of those young women was Wanda Lee Gray, a 20-year-old newlywed who died April 9th, 1935 in the home of her parents in Enid, Oklahoma. She left behind her husband, Robert Gray, 2 brothers and 2 sisters. This 1933 graduate of Enid High School had only been married since the 30th of the previous July. This young couple did not even make it to their first wedding anniversary. The two had honeymooned in Chicago to visit the World's Fair, traveled to Michigan and Minnesota, and then returned to set up house on a farm southwest of Kremlin, Oklahoma. But of course, after she went to Dr. Brewer, all the young couple's dreams died with her. Now, Wanda wasn't the first death attributed to Brewer's abortion activities. The first was 21-year-old Myrtle Rose of Ponca City, Oklahoma, who died December 23rd of 1931. So there was their chance to catch him. Just nothing happened. Then Ruby Ford, a 26-year-old homemaker, died April 1st of 1934 after an abortion perpetrated by Brewer. And then things are kind of speeding up a little bit. Hermione Fowler, a 20-year-old co-ed, died June 27th of 1934. So he's got 2 deaths in close proximity in 1934. Nothing happened. Then April 9th of 1935 rolls around. Wanda dies. Wanda was not even buried yet when an abortion at Brewer's hands ended the life of Doris Jones, a 20-year-old mother of 2 who died April 11th of 1935. I haven't been able to determine whether Elizabeth Shaw, a 23-year-old woman who also died in 1935, died before or after Wanda. But you can see he just kind of picked up some steam before they finally started holding him accountable. Brewer had graduated from the University of Louisville in 1906 and had been practicing medicine in Garber, Oklahoma for 21 of the 29 years he had been a physician. He supported young men during their university studies, maintaining houses for them to live in. Those he had educated over the years rushed immediately to his defense. Though Brewer had spent many long years helping boys and young men, his impact on young women's lives evidently was lightning fast. He didn't spend a whole lot of time on them, did he? So Brewer pleaded guilty to second-degree manslaughter in each case, ostensibly to avoid putting those who cared about him through the embarrassment of a public trial on such distasteful charges. One particular statement by Brewer is very telling. "I could not stand to have my boys brought into this case, and I would not betray the trust so many people have placed in me by having them harassed and in some cases their lives ruined by the notoriety a trial would bring to them." Looking at the age of some of these women, I'm getting the feeling that some of these abortions were for the benefit of his young men, not the benefit of the young women. Those boys offered support to Brewer from all corners of the globe, where they had work they attributed to Brewer's support in getting them educations. The county attorney who arranged the plea didn't seem to think Brewer had done much harm. In accepting Dr. Brewer's plea of guilty in these abortion deaths, I do so with the feeling that the law has collected its debt. The matter of the penalty assessed is unimportant. The thing that counts is that these crimes have been exposed to the world and the people can now realize the serious danger and hazard to life in this kind of operation. Thus came Brewer's sentences, 4-year sentences, to run concurrently for all 6 abortion deaths. The likely reason he got such a light sentence was his extreme popularity for his benevolence in putting those young men through college. In fact, Brewer was so beloved that one young woman's husband was fired in retaliation for reporting his wife's death to the police. Now, Governor E.W. Marland was not exactly delighted with the wrist slap administered by local officials. "This is the worst case I ever heard of," the governor said. "He was, in my opinion, guilty of moral turpitude of character almost as serious as that resulting in the death of these women." Noting that Brewer would be eligible for parole after serving only 28 months, the governor urged an investigation, which he was certain would uncover more crimes so that additional charges could be brought and Brewer would end up serving sentences commensurate with the harm he had done. But in the end, Brewer's supporters triumphed. The young men prospered, and the young women moldered in their graves.